Hey, JJ here with the Art of Value. Yesterday was going to be the last for the week, but it seems I've got one more in me for this week, and the market had a big rally, so I thought it was interesting to talk about that today. I mean, look at that. It was a big rally, was it? But the thing is, was it a bear market rally or was it the bottom? I mean, we don't know. Nobody knows. But the S&P 500 went up 2.39% after falling a lot lately. The Dow was 1.47, Nasdaq 3.62, which was a big leap from recent falls. But there's volatility, and the Russell 2000, which I said yesterday, went up while S&P went up substantially yesterday, and now it's 3.06% today. So another big leap. And if we look at the VIX, the Volatility Index, it's 28.87, which isn't like it's not over 30. If you look over the last year, it's just been as high as 38.94, and so it's sort of been rising since November, since the market started going down. And so I mean, you can count this as volatility, but immediately people are starting to say, oh, it's the bottom, because it was such a massive rally. But as we know, bear markets can have huge rallies before they go down again. So we can't predict the market. We don't know, but we can look at signs. We can look at lots of different signs of what's going on. And I thought it was interesting. I picked out a few stocks today that have had huge jumps, and most of them have had just massive crashes, rallies as well. So, but it's just interesting to see what happened, I think. But some signs, okay, some signs. Are we at the bottom? Is a question. Is this a dead cat bounce because it was pretty big, dead cat bounce, or are we at the bottom of the market? So some signs. Warren Buffett has been buying in the last at the Berkshire annual meeting, and the results of Berkshire for the quarter. They've been buying as big as they have for a long time. So is that a good sign? If Buffett's been buying, it depends what he's been buying, of course, too. Activision Blizzard was one of them that was kind of turned into an arbitrage play that he used to do in his earlier days, but a lot bigger, a lot more money now, of course. But Buffett's been buying oil stocks, and these are the headlines I've got on the screen. If you're on YouTube or Spotify, you'll be able to see this on video, by the way. Otherwise, just audio, so I'll explain a bit more for those on audio. So headlines, Buffett says inflation swindles almost everybody. Well, that's not really about buying stocks. Berkshire Hathaway bets big on US market. Buffett bought more Apple last quarter and says he would have added more if the stock didn't rebound. Well, it's been going down since then. That was a week ago. It did go down this week. So maybe he's been buying again. Warren Buffett is betting more on Chevron, so oil stocks, and they bought an insurance company that they've had their eye on for a long time. But what else? So Buffett's been buying. Well, Berkshire's been buying. So the headlines recently: Uber CEO bought company stock in the dip. Up to $5 million of shares in the ride-hailing company. The Barron's headline says. Who else? So this is one of the two of the execs of Shopify have been buying. Kaz, I'm not going to say his last name because I don't know how to pronounce it, and I'll stuff it up. Is he the CFO? I can't remember. I haven't studied Shopify, so I'm not sure. But Kaz Niyachin, is that his name? Oh, I butchered it, didn't I? And before I go to that, Toby, the CEO and founder, bought $10 million worth, and Daniel Ek from Spotify bought $50 million of Spotify. This is just in the last little while. So we can say insider buying to quite a large extent. Kaz is a VP of Shopify. All right, so we can say there's been quite a lot of insider buying, and Buffett's been buying. These are good signs. These are good signs when you see that. There's been a lot of considering at the top of the market before last November. there are various stories that you could look up. I haven't got them here today, but there've been a lot of net selling by insiders. There are quite a few stories of some big insider sales leading up to the market peak, and now we're seeing sort of insider buying, and part of it's to stabilize the share price, I'm sure. But there's only one reason that insiders buy, and that's because they think the stock's underpriced and it's going up at some point, not immediately. So next, this news also that was significant to California anyway. So this is Tom Angel, is that his name? Who's from the Marijuana Moment Daily News, and he says that today, California Governor Gavin Newsom issued an updated budget proposal that would eliminate the state's marijuana cultivation tax in an attempt to help legal licensed businesses businesses better compete with the illicit market, because that's been a problem in California, the illicit market. There's an illicit market and a legal market, and there's still significant buying in the illicit market. So, and the legal businesses pay a huge amount of tax. This is not just in California, but the tax burden is huge. So obviously it doesn't help the legal market if the illicit market doesn't pay tax, right? So cultivation tax is something that can be addressed. And this is a California company, Glass House Brands, GLASF is the ticker on the OTC market, and that jumped 22.69%, presumably on that news, because they have a huge glass houses, huge cultivation that they're developing there, and they are developing it so that they can compete and produce with very low prices, quality product at low prices, and so, but it's had huge declines over the last 6 months or so, or more over the last year. It hasn't been public that long, and so generally in that sector, it went along with the general trend of the market of being, so the ETFs in that sector, MSOS, jumped to 4.71, and Poseidon, which is a newer one, 6.58%. But there was a mixed bag, like Cresco Labs fell, but Air Wellness 3.1, Verano 4.63, True Leaf 6.26, so, and Green Thumb 5.5. So pretty good gains there along with the market, but not as high as some, as we'll see. And there's some other companies in that sector. Curaleaf 6.39, TerraSend, Glasshouse Brands, of course, 22 was the biggest, and a few others. So this, I picked out some of the huge gainers on the day. New Bank, NU Holdings, which I believe both Kathy Wood of ARK and Berkshire both own. Don't think Buffett would have bought this. I think it was one Ted and Todd perhaps, but it's had huge declines, and it was up 20.5%. I picked out ones that are over kind of 15, 20 or more on the day. Coinbase up 16% after huge declines lately. Shopify up 13, so nearly 14%. I wanted to add that because that's had huge declines. That's a big jump. Lucid, which is electric car company, at nearly 15%, and electric car company in general, Tesla jumped 5.71. So mega cap jumping that much, but it's kind of volatile that way, and anyway it can be. But Neo 9.21, Lucid 14, Rivian 9.88. So in terms of this bear market rally, we could call it, Rivian, did it deserve to jump 10%? Really, in Lucid, did it deserve to jump 15%? So you kind of have to question whether this is legit, whether it's the bottom of the market, when there's some things that you think, should these be jumping 10, 20, 15, 20%? Here's one, Amorous, that jumped 37%. I own the stock. Has been devastated, but I like it long term. It's not investment advice. Nothing you hear on here is investment advice. Huge volatility. It went so high in the last few years during this bubble. It was a bubble, but now $2.36. I think it got down to one, didn't it? One something. $15 for Peloton, which leapt 16%, 16.5%. And so this is kind of in luxury goods. The real jumped 16. Stitch Fix 12%. Probably the biggest jump that they've had for a while, I think. ASOS, which is UK based, jumped a little bit. So these are fashion garment sellers and luxury goods for the real reseller. So we have SC Limited, which has had a decline lately, jumped 22.7%, and but over the year it's fallen 66%. If you look at the Chinese companies, Buffett up 8.51 on the day, JD nearly 6%, PDD 10%. So they kind of went in line with the US stocks. Poshmark, haven't talked about that for a while. It leapt nearly 24%. So a reseller, online reseller, kind of a marketplace, and that's had a huge decline since it listed, and it had a big jump, and it's down 29% year to date, but it's down much more than that over the time. Stoneco, another one that both Berkshire and Kathy Wood from ARK both bought, and it was up 20% today, but it's had a big decline as well. It's at $8. I think it's got as high as 30 at one point, or more, over 30, well over 30. It's had an 85% decline in the past year. Stoneco, wow, that is massive. But I don't think that Berkshire sold it, which is interesting. Farfetch, which is another online seller, 15%. Okay, I'm going to end this soon because it just goes on and on. So but that's their Farfetch is down 73% as well. Cloudflare, that's ticker NET, which was up 17% on the day and 49% year to date. And these are big numbers. Robinhood, up 25% on the day. And what else? Affirm, another one's up 31% on the day. I mean, these are huge jumps. It just goes on and on. Oatly, nearly 21%. Oatly down 53% on the year. So, and MicroStrategy, which is a big owner of Bitcoin, it was up 20%. Bitcoin's recovered a bit last time I looked. And but MicroStrategy is down 62%. Something that a lot of people don't know, that MicroStrategy was there during the dot-com bubble, and it plummeted like 50% one day. It didn't trigger the dot-com bubble, but it was definitely in the news, and it was one of the ones that did get into a massive bubble and burst, and it's kind of been that way this time around too. Beyond Meat, I think this is the last one, up nearly 25%. I mean, the numbers aren't great with Beyond Meat, so that's interesting that it leapt that much. It kind of needs the McDonald's deal that's been floating around. I haven't seen the news if that actually happened, but given that so many others went up that much, it probably didn't happen. It's just what's the news that's driving all these stocks up 15, 20, 25, 30%? Just that they're way oversold and suddenly the market's come to a census? I don't know. We have to be wary of the bear market rallies. Can be big, and this can go on, and then it could drop. So we just don't know. But it could be the bottom. We don't know. But as we've seen, there's a lot of insider buying. There's a lot of buying by some very good investors in the last few months. So that's all I have for you today. Like and subscribe. Catch me on Twitter at The Art of Value, and we'll see you next time.